What's up, guys? Babyface TCG here. I just shaved, and if I went to go buy alcohol right now, they would literally laugh at me and kick me out of the store. So, yeah, the first day I shave, I normally just have just the most 5-year-old face in the entire world. But with that aside, I have won 3 straight tournaments with my locals, and then on the Ranked Simulator Discord, I have went 4-1 with this Sakazuki deck that I have been playing. I made a lot of changes to it, and I think overall it's a really good deck. I'm also going to I'm going to edit it so the camera is obviously, it's a real life deck profile, right? Because you guys have told me you don't like when I just finger the cards for like 3 minutes while I talk about the matchup in the deck. So I'm not going to do that. I am going to improve my videos so I don't just, have me fumbling around with, my Sabo blocker for 3 minutes. So with that being said, let me talk to you real quick, guys, about the Sabo deck that I've been playing as well. You guys kept asking for the final list, and this is the Sabo list that I came up with. I ended up cutting a couple of the blockers to make it just a little bit more rush focused. So I played the Sanjis and I played 2 extra Karasu. So all right, so that's the Sabo deck that I know you guys, a lot of people were asking about. Let me talk about the Sakazuki deck too. So Sakazuki, my problem was when I would lose dice roll to purple Luffy, basically if I didn't have a Hound Blaze, I just lose the game, straight up, right? And the reason being is if they go Magellan, or even worse, double Magellan, it feels like the game is completely unwinnable because your only 2 forms of removal your 2 forms of removal mainly are Lucci and Borsellino. And, if they double Magellan, they throw you off curve so much that you can't use Borsellino. And then Lucci, obviously, you can't KO the Magellan. He's a 6K, so it's very easy to defend. So I felt like I needed some way of finding Hound Blaze. And with that, I came up with a decision that I'll talk to you about in just a little bit. But my matchups have been obviously meta matchups mostly, right? I've played I think 3 or 4 Katakuris, 3 or 4 Anels, 7 purple Luffys, a couple mirror matches, and then just Whitebeard, and then just random Bello Betty, stuff like that. So and red purple Luffy as well. So overall, I go into all these tournaments playing mostly meta decks, and then there's some that I play that are just off meta, right? Like Blurple Kaido, or red purple Luffy or something like that. I think red purple Luffy is middle of A tier because it definitely can do a lot of good things, but Sakazuki can sometimes just grind it out, right? And set up some blockers to avoid dying. So with that being said, I'm gonna edit it so that I am showing you the deck profile. All right, guys, so here we go. So like I said, obviously Sakazuki, I have been 16-1. The only match that I did lose was on the Ranked Simulator, and the Ranked Simulator, I basically made a mistake by, instead of using 2 Hound Blazes to boost up my Kaido to 18k and attack over a Mihawk, I used 1 Hound Blaze to swing over, or 1 Hound Blaze on my Kaido, and he countered out to save his Kaido, and I ended up losing because of it. But if I put 2 on, then I kill him. Straight up. So we're still playing. We're opting to play 10 2Ks. I know a lot of you guys are you have to play 8. I'm telling you guys, 10 2Ks are not, or 10 2Ks is the way, right? I'm telling you, there's something about being able to counter out of attacks. It is absolutely the most important thing in the game. And if you can't counter out of attacks, you can't keep your life healthy. And if your life's not healthy, you can't make a lot of plays. And if you're like me, you don't draw counters. So you need to have 10, if you're unlucky like me, to be able to survive random decks like Whitebeard and red purple Luffy, and even just any deck, dude. 2Ks are good. 2Ks are good, right? Also, if you're watching this, I strategically posted this so that it will be, as soon as you're done this video, you are able to check out my live stream. I'm hosting a 100-person tournament, webcam tournament with a huge cash prize, and we have a lot of big name players in there. So I think it's gonna be really exciting for you guys to watch. And then the VV Theory is actually gonna be helping me commentate. So if you guys know VV Theory, he's a big friend of mine, goes to my locals. He's also a big YouTuber. So him and I are gonna be commentating on the game. So back to the deck profile. We have 4 brand new. That's just obvious. No reason to talk about that. And for our removal, we are playing 4 Hound Blaze. You're like, what? 4 Hound Blaze? Yeah, 4 Hound Blaze. Then we're playing 4 Lucci. And we are playing 3 Borsellino. We bumped it up from 2. And guys, the surprise card that everyone is, you know, some people slept on, some people didn't. I slept on this card a little bit. We're playing 2 ulti. And the reason we are playing this, guys, is because when I'm playing into Purple Luffy and they just drop Magellan, I need to have more copies of Houndblaze. This is another copy of Houndblaze, right? You play this and on attack, it bottom decks a 2 or less, right? Houndblaze, bottom decks a 2 or less. So this is your 6th copy of Houndblaze, so you have 6 opportunities to see this in your opening hand going first. If you lose the dice roll, of course, you can still play this on turn 2. If you go second, still actually a really good card. I mean, you know, sometimes it's better than playing you know, Borsalino blocker, or, you know, obviously you can play either this or Kuzan in kind of a flex spot if you want to, but obviously this is actually huge, right? Like, this is a huge card for them to be able to hit. If they don't have Poly on curve, this card will like literally just absolutely wreck them, right? So like, if you're going first, this card is fantastic. It's actually what I mulligan for. This, you either mulligan for ulti or you mulligan for Houndblaze. It's one of these two, and then obviously you want to draw like a cost reduction card, whether it be Ice Age or Great Eruption or another card that I'm going to be talking about. So yeah, that's my removal. I'm playing 5, 9, 13 removal cards this time instead of just 11. So it's actually much easier to find removal. As for blockers, we're not playing a whole lot. We're playing 2 Borsalino, then we're playing 2 Sabo, and we're playing 4 Rebecca. So the reason being is Borsalino is a great card, but it is not the engine of the deck. A lot of times we found that, you know, the engine of this deck is just straight up being able to cost reduce. However, there is something to be said about not being able to KO your blockers or anything on your field, which is Sabo or just Borsalino. So they have their use too. It's just not as frequent as Rebecca has its use. And, you know, justifying playing more Borsalinos just is hard, because at the end of the day, you want to bottom deck stuff, and then blocking comes later. And then as long as you have Rebecca, you have a blocker, and especially because we have 10 2Ks, we don't need to play as many blockers. So that's what I prefer. I prefer to use my Dawn to bottom deck stuff rather than play blockers. So it's been working great with that. So those are the blockers. And then for the cost reduction, playing double Kuzan. Now, if you guys have talked to me before, I said I hate this card. And I still relatively do. The thing is, this deck is just incredibly inconsistent sometimes, even with the 2 draws, because you can get either all of your cost reduction and none of your removal, or all of your removal and no cost reduction, or not the right cost reduction and not the right removal. It's just a very hard deck to like find all of your pieces that you need at the exact same time, because you need at least like 2 or 3 of them in most occasions. So with that being said, the reason we're playing Kuzan is because it replaces itself. It lets you cycle 3 cards in one turn, because obviously you get your leader effect, you get your normal turn draw, and then you get your Kuzan draw. So you have 3 cards that you can play. I am no longer playing the blue Hina because I replaced the ulti with the blue Hina with the ulti. So you have the cost reduction in Kuzan. Then we have 3 Hinas, which obviously you don't ever really want to search this. Brand new, as long as it pitches a Hina and you grab like even like a 2K or a, you know, any of your cost reduction, this is perfectly fine in the trash. However, I have been discarding this way less frequently because, you know, with Rebecca, I can just get back a Lucci from my trash if I trash it early, and then play the Hina from hand, and then obviously just get the Lucci that I got from trash. So this card has been huge. I like it at 3. I don't like it at 4. And 3, I've been seeing it a lot. Now, obviously, there's sometimes where I don't see it, where I'm like, damn, that really sucks. But I want to play another card that I think is just slightly more important as a 1 of than a 4 of Hina, and I'll explain that. So obviously that's a cost reduction as well. Then we're playing 4 Great Eruption. Great Eruption is just obviously just a great card. And like I said, into the Purple Luffy matchup, as well as the Enel matchup, we are playing 1 Navy HQ, right? So for those of you guys who don't know, Navy HQ is actually our 5th copy of Great Eruption. On play, cost -1, activate main, cost -1. So the turn that you play it, it's a 1 Dawn, cost -2, right? So same thing as Great Eruption, except for Great Eruption draws a card. This is your 5th copy of Great Eruption. If you have this on turn 1, I often do not play it, because I need it to be a cost -2 rather than a cost -1, and then for the rest of the game it is a cost -1. So it is just fantastic. With this deck we are now playing 5 Great Eruptions and 6 Hound Blazes in theory, and it just helps us so much with like finding consistent removal. And there's a couple plays that you can make, especially with Lucci, with the Navy HQ, that you wouldn't be able to do if you didn't have Navy HQ. So with your leader effect and Navy HQ, you can cost -2 character, or one character per turn, because -1 -1. But with your leader effect and playing this on play, -1 -2, it is just a huge play that you can make that a lot of people don't expect, and it's just a great 5th edition of the deck, or of the Great Eruption. Then we're playing double Ice Age. Trigger is really good. It helps against like Law. It helps against like even like decks like Zoro if they try to like rush you. Trigger it, KO at 3 or less, and then obviously on play, -5 cost to a character, and then a lot of times you just pop it with like Lucci, or you bottom deck with Borsellino. This on top of your leader effect is a -6, and then it puts even a 10 cost in Kuzan, or in Borsellino range. This on top of leader effect and Navy HQ is a what is it, 5, 6, 7, so it's a 7. And then if you obviously use if you play Navy HQ in addition to this on play, this as well as this and this is an 8, so you can Lucci somebody too. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then the last 3 cards, I'm only playing 1 Mon Cherie. The reason I'm playing 1 is because I kept finding myself in positions where like this card is so good, however I wish it was something else, right? Oh my god, I wish this card was like, I don't know, like 1 more Great Eruption, or I wish this card was like you know, like another Borsellino or something. And I kept like almost like pitching the card, and I was like, I still like it because it can recycle the cards that I need back, you know, if I like, especially if I have a Rebecca in trash. But like I don't like it enough to play it as a 2 of, because I keep using it as counter rather than like, you know, just being able to like just find the pieces that I need. So I opted and elected to play more of the cards that I need to see on a consistent basis, and then I still play the 1 to be able to get stuff back from the trash and be able to like, you know, play grind games pretty well. But it's not the most important card in the deck, so I think a 1 of is really important. But one of the most important cards in the deck is 10 cost Kaido. 10 cost Kaido is absolutely ridiculous, guys. If you play him and you're at 2 life and they don't have like a full board, you automatically win the game. Especially in the mirror match, if you play this Kaido, they're going to spend their whole turn most likely getting rid of this Kaido, and then now you have, they don't play their own Kaido, right? So now you, on the crackback, let's say they get rid of your Kaido, you still do like the Rebecca, Hina, Lucci play, and like you crack their board pretty consistently, but now you have 4 extra cards and they don't. So you just like win the grind game, and like you set up boards that like they can't kill. And like, let's say they play a Kaido of their own, like after they clear your Kaido and after you clear their board, well then you still can like swing really tall with like Hina and Lucci and then your leader. Or you can swing like moderately tall with like 7/7/7, and then play like a Sabo blocker from your from your hand, and then none of your things can be KO'd, and they basically just skip a turn. Like it doesn't matter how many cards they have in their hand, they can't Lucci or they just can't Lucci you. So like it's just huge. So this deck has just been playing so well, guys. Like you have absolutely no idea how good this has been for me. And I'm playing this game, or I'm playing games in tournaments, and I'm just laughing because I'm like, oh my god, dude, like when this deck hits, bro, it's just different, bro. Like when this deck hits, it's like a freaking symphony like playing in your head, because like you finally have like every answer in the game for everything they do, and it's just a beautiful like line of play and sequencing. It's just great. But yeah, guys, as soon as this video ends, check out my live stream. We're going to be commentating on the tournament, me and the VV Theory, and we will see you guys on my next video. Peace.